Hey Advance fam, and welcome to Advance Online. My name is Ellie Fisher and I am on the student leadership team at the South Park campus. So shout out to my South Park peeps. I know right now is a difficult time for people. I know we're all feeling a little bit lonely and isolated, but I just came on here to tell you that I encourage you guys to stay connected with your friends and family and ask people how you can pray for them. But some things that I have been doing during quarantine, I've been running, I've been enjoying time outside like you can see, and I have been doing puzzles and trying to learn my ukulele that I've had for so long but have just never gotten around to learning. So that's cool. But as I said before, I just want to encourage you guys to stay connected, ask people how they're doing, check up on people. So without further ado, let's head on to some worship.
Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. 'Cause you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are here, touching every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, healing every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, turning lives around. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, mending every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. 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 Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. 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 Cause you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, and that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, and that is who you are, Jesus.
Hey everybody, welcome to Advance Online. My name is Lindsay. I'm from the Fort Mill campus. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're really glad that you guys are here. I wanted to start us off with a question. You can comment below and answer this question. But I want to know, what is your favorite emoji? I'll share a few of mine. Sometimes I'm a person that uses emojis a lot. I actually use emojis or GIFs or GIFs, however you pronounce it. How do you pronounce it? More often, sometimes when I don't have the words to say. So here's some of my favorite emojis. The first is the laughing cry face, the laughing tear face. So I use this and I send this when I'm laughing. When my friends and I send funny videos or funny texts or funny pictures, and I literally am laughing. It's making me laugh so hard that I'm crying. The next is the crying face, just two like steady stream of tears coming down. I send this to my friends when I may or may not actually be crying. I probably am, but it's making me want to cry. So basically I'm like in my feels. And the last one, this one right here, my friend sends this to me all the time, and it's the sliding dab. Basically it means a dab, which what words would you use instead of a dab? So that's what that means. So that's the beauty of these emojis or GIFs. They help us talk about things without having to use words. So there are a few emojis that I don't use often, because when I do, they carry a lot of weight and they mean a lot. And this sets the stage for what we're talking about today. These three emojis. This one, it's the face with no mouth. This one, it's the face with the open mouth. And then this one, a face with an open mouth with raised eyebrows. We've all had those situations in life where we're like, I have no words for this. We are shocked. And I like the first one the best, the face with no mouth, because it represents those moments where you simply don't have any words to say. It's when we hear about something or something happens to us that we can't make sense of. And I'd say that most of the time, any of those emojis comes along with a text that reports something shocking or something bad, and something that catches us off our guard or hits us out of nowhere. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So have you ever experienced something in your life that made you feel like that? Something that rocked your world, it caught you off your guard, made you feel uncertain, or caused you hurt. Maybe you felt that way when you found out that your parents were splitting up, even when you didn't know things were that bad. Maybe you had a friend say something mean about you, but ended up sending that text to you. How many of you have ever gotten a screenshot that wasn't meant for you? Or maybe you felt that way when your mom and dad sat you down and told you that they had to move because of a job change. Or maybe you felt this way when you experienced a breakup, or you were dumped, or you were breaking up with somebody and they said that they were relieved and you were like, wait, what? Or maybe you got a rejection letter from a college that you were dreaming of attending. Or you got a test score that may make getting into college way harder than you thought. Or maybe you had a sports injury at the beginning of this season. Or maybe you just got news that school is out for the rest of the year and you're feeling overwhelmed and afraid and hurt and unsure and really sad because you're not going to be able to see your teachers or your friends again. This list could go on and on for a long time of examples where your world gets rocked by some shocking news or circumstances that catch you off guard. And the thing about these shockingly painful moments is they often hit us out of nowhere. And because of that, it's difficult for us to know how they'll make us feel. And because of that, it's difficult for us to know how we'll respond. And sometimes we surprise ourselves by how well we handle it. We think, oh, I thought that was going to really rock my world, but I'm actually okay. I'm actually doing okay. Sometimes we surprise ourselves by how much it tears us apart. We think, I don't even know why I'm so upset about this, but I am a mess. And sometimes we feel closer to God when things rock us, but other times we wonder where God is at all. And because we're all wired differently, we experience hurt differently. But that doesn't change the fact that hurt hurts. And when life hurts, we find ourselves wondering what to do next. And that's why we're doing this series. It's called What to Do When You Don't Know What to Do. Because we all encounter those no word emoji moments. And so did Joseph, which is what this series is all about. And we began this series by talking about him last week. And this week we continue his story in a way that can only be described as this. So a little bit about Joseph. Joseph is one of the most famous people in the Old Testament of the Bible, which is the first half of the Bible. And I would actually say Joseph is probably one of the most famous people in the Bible in general. And Joseph had a lot of family drama, and drama he definitely played a part in creating. He was his dad's favorite child, and he was given special treatment against his brothers. And on top of that, we talked about this last week, he had a dream that his brothers and even his parents bowed down to him out of respect and honor. And because Joseph couldn't really pick up on social cues, he told them about it. He shared this dream with his family. So you can imagine how well that went over. His brothers were not okay with him being his dad's favorite. And his brothers were not okay with him sharing his dreams of ruling over them one day. So how did they respond? Let's check this out. But they saw him from a distance, and before he reached them, they plotted to kill him. That went from 0 to 100 really quick. Okay, it continues. Here comes the dreamer, they said to each other. Come now, let's kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns and say that a ferocious animal devoured him. Then we'll see what comes of his dreams. So they're going to kill him, and then they're going to throw him in a pit, and then they're going to say that a ferocious animal attacked him and killed him. So despite his anger towards Joseph, one of his brothers actually has compassion and has a conscience in this moment. The story continues. When Reuben heard this, he tried to rescue Joseph from their hands. Let's not take his life, he said. Don't shed any blood. Throw him into this cistern here in the wilderness, but don't lay a hand on him. Reuben said this to rescue him from them and to take him to his father. Thank goodness for Reuben, right? He convinced his brothers to throw Joseph into a well instead of killing him. He even planned on coming back to rescue Joseph later and to bring him back to his father. So the brothers end up listening to Reuben. And when Joseph approaches, they ripped off the special coat his father had given him and they threw him into a well. And if Joseph had a phone, this is what he would have texted his best friend and said, "When your brothers tear up your jacket and throw you in a well." But they're still not done with him. They noticed a caravan of traders approaching, and Judah, which is another one of Joseph's many brothers, suggests that they sell Joseph to these traders. Right? Like, after all, selling Joseph to a group of people who would most likely make him a slave is better than murdering him, right? So that's exactly what they do. They sell him to these group of travelers and traders coming down the road. And then they dip Joseph's coat in a blood of a wild animal, and they take him to their father. And they tell him that Joseph was likely attacked and killed by an animal. What a cover story. It says they took the ornate robe back to their father and said, "We found this. Examine it to see whether it is your son's robe." This last line tells us everything we need to know about this situation. The brothers obviously knew that the coat belonged to Joseph. They brought it up to let their dad know that they noticed the way that he favored Joseph. And look at how they said it. They didn't say this is Joseph's coat or this is our brother's coat. They said this is your son's robe. What? Like the jealousy. There is so much jealousy here. Joseph, he's over here texting in the well. Good news. I'm out of the well. Bad news. They sold me. Like they actually sold me. And I'm being a bit lighthearted here, but the truth is that there is nothing lighthearted about this situation. We simply cannot imagine the fear, the despair, the uncertainty, the anger, and the hurt that Joseph felt. He's betrayed by his own flesh and blood. He's sold into very real slavery by his brothers that he grew up with. And the message being sent to Joseph loud and clear is that we are better off without you. I mean, what would you even do? How do you get yourself unsold? This is definitely and clearly a what to do when you don't know what to do moment. Our stories are different than Joseph's, but we all experienced pain of some kind. And we all have scary, painful, or even dangerous moments that catch us off our guard. And we all have moments when life does not make sense and we don't have the words to process what's happening. And unfortunately for Joseph, he has more shocking moments in his story that we're going to cover over the next few weeks. But I want to highlight today 5 powerful words that show up in the historical account of Joseph's life. And while they don't keep him from getting thrown into a pit, and they don't keep him from getting sold into slavery, these 5 words literally made all the difference and helped Joseph maybe more than anything else did. And these 5 words: the Lord was with Joseph. The Lord was with Joseph. Joseph didn't have a lot going for him in the pit, and even less afterward when he was sold into slavery. But when Joseph was in despair and wondering how life would turn out, he could rely on a single truth: God was with him. And the truth didn't change the reality of Joseph's situation, but it was better than being alone. And this truth didn't mean that Joseph could see where the story was going, but he could know that he wasn't entirely dependent on himself to get out of the situation. And this truth didn't mean that Joseph could easily deal with the things that happened to him. And it didn't mean that he had a reason or an explanation for the pain in his life, but he didn't have to figure out things all by himself. And the same is true for you. When there's nothing you can do, God is with you. When there's nothing you can do, God is with you. When life hands you shocking news and you don't know what to do, God is with you. And truthfully, you've probably heard that before. We hear that all the time. And so often we hear it so many times that it maybe loses its meaning. We don't feel them. But I want you to think about this for a second. That God is with you. And not in like this abstract way, but he is actually present with you. Next to you, here, near you. He is with you. And one of my favorite names for Jesus is Emmanuel, which in Hebrew means God with us. And this name is used several times in the narrative of Jesus' birth. It says, a virgin will give birth to a son, and he will be called Emmanuel. And Emmanuel means God with us. And God with us is Jesus, and Jesus is God with us. And so God is not distant, and he's not disengaged. He's not apathetic, which means he doesn't care. God is present. He's with us. He sent his son to die for us. He is bent towards us. That his very posture towards us. That he is with us. He is intimately involved with the details and the storylines of our lives. This is the truth about our God, that he created us and he loved us and he sent his son to die for us. So he is with us. He doesn't wait for us to figure it out. He is present along the way. And when you and I can truly understand and embrace this truth, it changes everything. And our circumstances may not change because Joseph wasn't immediately returned to his brothers, but it changes our perspective on our situation. And maybe more than anything, it gives us hope to keep going even when it feels like we can't. And knowing that God is with us may not change our circumstances, but it might just change us. And might just give us enough hope to keep going, even in the midst of our hopeless circumstances. It's easy to give up in the hurt we've experienced, and it's easy to let fear overwhelm us or anger consume us. I have been there. And we have a lot of reasons to let difficult and sometimes unfair situations get the last word. But when we know that God is with us, the uncertainty of life doesn't get the last word. God does. God gets the last word. And so I have a couple application points before we head out. And so what does this look like? And there's no formulas or easy answers for getting through hard times. And there's no formulas for easy answers to remember that God is with us. But here are two things. One is to be real. Name it. Feel your feelings. All throughout the Bible, people went through really difficult times. And there were many accounts of them being honest with God about how they felt and about their struggles. There are no cliches to make the hard times go away. And our job isn't just to suck it up and act like everything is okay. And if we believe that God is with us, then we should know that God is more than okay with our honest questions, our doubts, and our fears. And the second thing is to remind yourself. Remind yourself and each other that God is with you. And this is something that you'll have to say over and over and over again. So here's a spoiler alert. Things actually do work out for Joseph. And we know that because we read the whole story. But when you're in it, you don't always know the whole story. Joseph is in it and there's no spoiler alerts for him. But he held on to this one thing, that God was with him. And in moments when life is the toughest, this reminder is what's most important, that God is with you and your story isn't over yet. Life is full of moments when we don't know what to do about our pain. And as we head out and close up tonight, I want you to tell you why our life groups are so important. In these moments, nobody wants to feel alone. And so it's important to know that when you don't know what to do, God is with you. But so are we. So is Advance. So are your life group leaders. So is your life group. These are your people that give you hope and remind you of the presence of God. And they remind you of goodness when things feel hopeless. They won't make the difficult circumstances go away, but you will have something and someone to count on. Let me pray for us. God, thank you for this truth. God, thank you for the reminder that you are with us. God, you are Emmanuel. God, thank you so much for never leaving us. God, for naming us and for claiming us and for walking with us through times that shock us and overwhelm us and consume us. And God, may we have a posture of gratitude as we go into what the future holds. In your name we pray. Amen.
What's up, guys? It's Roland from the South Boulevard campus. I miss y'all, and it's so good to be with you tonight, digitally and in spirit. And I just gotta say, wow, what an awesome message from Lindsay tonight. I think, one of the things that makes this such a great message is that it's relatable. We have all been in, and maybe some of us are in right now, maybe you guys are going through something right now, a situation that seems completely impossible. You feel alone, you feel like there's no way out. I'm thinking about Joseph when he's in that pit. Maybe he couldn't even see the light. Maybe he didn't even know if he was gonna get out of it, but like Lindsay said, he knew that God was with him. And I think that's what got him through the end. Lindsay said that God wasn't done writing his story, and he's not done writing your story either. And even though the situation that you're going through might seem impossible, it might seem like you have no one to help you and no way to pull it off on your own, the good news is that you're not on your own. I want to read you guys a verse from Psalm 34. This is verse 19, right next to a portion that we've invited you guys to memorize with us in life groups. And it says this: Many are the afflictions, which are problems. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord rescues them from them all. Wow. He rescues them from them all. If you have given your life to Jesus Christ and you follow him and you believe that he died for your sins, then God calls you righteous. He says that you are without stain. You are righteous. If you have not, then we would love to continue that conversation with you. Make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss what we're getting into next week. It's going to be really great. Same time, same place. And if this is your first time watching it, we are so glad that you have come. And we invite you to go to www.fhcfamily.com/connect so that we can get in touch with you personally. I can't wait to see you guys soon, and I hope it's sooner than later. Have a great week.